Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So as you'll have seen by the title, I am attempting to do my first colourwork sweater project. So a little while ago I did actually make the Maxine Hot Water Bottle cover by Laura Penrose, which was my first stranded colourwork project ever, and enjoyed it so much. I had like the itch to cast on a sweater. Basically, I always wanted to make a jumper, but I thought I would start with something like a hot water bottle cover hasn't got to fit you right. So in terms of figuring out tension and stuff, I picked that one first and it went pretty well. So today I'm actually casting on my first jumper project. Although I usually design my own things, I am going to be following a pattern for this because I don't know, it feels a lot less overwhelming. So the jumper I'm going to be making is the sand sweater, and I am going to show you quickly the yarn I'm using because I want to cast on today. So I am using the recommended yarn. I'm doing the 3 colour version instead of the 4. So the recommended yarn is the Camel Rose Snuff Nug. My main colour is going to be this like charcoal grey. This is colour 7313. And I'm just holding it with a drops mohair, which is in black. They didn't have a grey that was dark enough to match with this charcoal colour. I think that the black's going to be more suitable, so it's just the kid silk. So this is going to be my main colour. And then my main contrast colour, I'm so excited about this, I'm not even gonna lie. These are kind of falling apart a little bit, is this like olivey green kind of colour. So this is colour 7995, and I'm kind of torn on what I'm going to hold it with yet, because I have this leftover hobby friends kid silk from another project, although I don't have a whole ball, but I'm more than happy to frog the edges of that because I'm never going to wear it anyway. The one that I had ordered for this project is the Gapard Kids Setup, but this just isn't as good of a colour match. This is a very like yellowy leaning green, and this is just I think too green. I think that the hobby is a much better colour match, so I think I'm going to go ahead with this and just frog the bit that I need from the other project, because the only bit of this I have in the other project is just like the very edge trims on the rib, on like the neckline, the cuffs and the hem. So I'm hoping it shouldn't be too bad to try and, you know, harvest some of that yarn out. So this is my main colour, and then there's a third contrast colour as well, and this is colour 7811, and this is just the white kid silk. I don't know exactly what the colour, you know, it's just the black and white. I don't know what the colour names are, you know, number. So yeah, this is the second contrast colour. So this is what they all look like together. I'm so excited. I think this jumper is going to be so nice in the winter. This is super soft. So basically today my plan is to just cast on, see how far we get. I've been dying to work on like a bigger gauge project, truthfully, because the other thing I've got on my needles is the Valerie blouse by Petite Knit, and that's on like 3.5, and I think this project is on like a 5 or 6. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully it's going to work up a lot quicker. And yeah, this is the first time I'm using this yarn. I have used the Drops Air before, which is meant to be quite comparable, so I'm interested to see how this one holds up differently. They're both like basically the same thing. They're like a blown yarn, so it's got a chain neck kind of construction on the inside, and then the fibres are blown through it. So yeah, today I'm going to cast this on and I will update you when we make some progress.
I'm sure we're on like the basic skirt patterns which should do this job, but I kind of just thought it was a bit of an experiment. And
not gonna lie, I've hardly made any progress, but tonight is Tuesday and Ryan is working late, so you best believe we're gonna be knitting. So literally this is as far as I've got. This is just the neckline. You cast on the neckline. I'm gonna make myself some dinner and then pretty much like get showered and just sit down and work on this for the rest of the evening. I don't know why, I just feel like every day we've just had like things to sort out, but I guess I can whip this on. The collar is all done in half twisted rib as well, so it's got kind of more like defined lines, not that you can even really see it in this yarn since it's held with, well, it's like a fluffy yarn held with a mohair. So I'm gonna make dinner and then we're gonna get knitting. I'm gonna make myself some really basic noodles. These are the ones that I like, and I have got some eggs, some spring onions and some watercress as well. So I'm gonna do that hack you guys probably seen it on TikTok already, where you like mix the flavouring packet in with like Kewpie mayo and an egg yolk, and then you don't put loads of water in it, so it's not like a ramen, it's like a really like creamy noodle. This is literally the hack. So Kewpie mayo, egg yolk, I put garlic in, and then powder, and then you literally like kind of mix this together into a paste, and then when you come to put the noodles in, you put like a tiny bit of water and mix it together, and then that's it, and then it gets really nice and creamy. So I don't know, everyone's probably already seen this, but it's my favourite way to make these noodles. I've literally just got in from work, but I made some pretty good progress last night, so I want to show you where I'm at. I finished the rib and started the colour work. Let me tell you, the jump in needle sizes was weird, like, because I don't think it's really given too much away. The main body's knit on 6, the collar's knit on 4, and going from the 4 to 6 just felt so different in my hands. But this is where I'm at. I literally haven't even tried this on yet. I didn't even gauge swatch, so I'm hoping that this is gonna work out. I've been wearing my knit jumpers to work more than now that I don't have a uniform, and let me actually show you this because this is embarrassing. I clearly never weaved these ends in before. Been like tucking them in all day, so that needs to be tackled soon. But let's see how this is looking. I actually did the neck shorter than recommended in pattern by like ½ an inch, and I feel like I should have gone down more, but I don't know how much this is gonna droop once it's been blocked, because I feel like the weight of the jumper might pull this down a bit more anyway. I don't know, I'm kind of hoping it does. I mean, I don't know what I'll do if it doesn't. Potentially sew it in, or I don't know, try and adjust. I do like the look of turtlenecks. I just really feel like they don't suit me very well, and I feel like I get irritated through the day if things are like too up here. So I don't know, mayhaps we will alter that eventually, but the colours are popping so good. I've literally just started on, so this is colour A, colour B, and this is colour C. This is the 3 colour version. You can do it in 3 or 4, but yeah, it looks so good. I'm literally so excited. I'm obsessed with this colour scheme. So the plan for tonight, Ron's at work again late, so we are just gonna keep going. Now that I'm on this like 6mm bit, it's definitely working up a lot quicker. So yeah, the fabric feels super nice as well. I'm holding this with the Drops Kid Silk, but it's not itchy at all because the main yarn is so fluffy and just so soft. So yeah, and this is what my inside looks like with the floats. Trying to be mindful and keep them like super loose, but yeah, it's looking really cute, and we're just gonna keep going. This is a very impromptu update. We are going to Cambridge today because we have a wedding tomorrow, but I've kind of made like kind of good progress. I thought I'd show you. And the other thing that I wanted to chat about is I didn't realize there's like 3 rounds that you have to do 3 color work. So you can kind of see here, I've just got past that portion. It actually wasn't that bad. I think because I pick up and drop the yarn, it wasn't like that bad having to manage 3 colors. And I just made sure that like I didn't move the project around a lot. It did get a little bit tangled the first night because I put it down funny, but it looks so cool. They're doing some like hedge trimming or something outside. I hope it's not too loud. But yeah, this is how we're at. I'm really hoping this neckline is gonna drop. If not, she might be like a folded over jobby, but there's nothing that like can't really be fixed at the end. So this is what it looks like. I'm so pleased with my colour choice. And the other thing is, I way overbought on the white. This is literally like the only part it's used, apart from I'm actually going to change the colour work chart a tiny bit at the bottom, as in I'm going to allocate a different colour for one bit. But beyond that, I mean, I've got so much of the white left, so definitely going to have to make like an accessory or something with that. But yeah, I'm going to obviously take this with, so I wanted to update before I got like drastically far down. The only thing is, this is so fluffy. I just put lip lip balm on and now I'm stuck. But anyway, this is what the inside looks like. And yeah, my main concern is just the neck, but I'm hoping that the weight of the jumper is gonna like pull it down when it's blocked. So I'm gonna take this with, and then today's Friday, so I'll probably catch up with you like after the wedding, so like maybe Sunday, I don't know, maybe I'll take you around Cambridge a little bit, but yeah, chatty wise probably won't be till after we're back. But yeah. Can you stop saying that?
Oh no, is that gonna end up in the video?
No.
I can do it in German accent if you want.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, ready?
I wanted to do Lola, but then I think it's a bit of a...
It's only afternoon, better.
Ryan! I feel like over the weekend I actually made a little bit of progress, not loads. Ooh. The only problem with doing colour work is like having to manage all the yarn, but anyway, let me show you if I can. Let me untwist all of this first. Okay, let's try that again. This is how far I've gotten with the colour work. So I'm past the white section. I actually haven't tried this on in a bit. So this is looking like such a funnel, but I'm hoping that she's gonna, you know, block out a bit. This is how it is. It's super graphic, which I love. Super beautiful. It's knitting up so quick as well because it's on 6mm needles. Should we have a look what it will be like if I fold this down? Also, I'm so sorry about the light. It's that time of year now, so evening sections are gonna be pretty poorly lit. I would do it in the living room, but I've just put the washing machine on, so yeah, I don't know. I am still potentially considering folding this, but I think I'll only be able to tell once it's been wet blocked. This hasn't been blocked at all. If I do say so myself, I think that the colour work tension is looking pretty good. I've still got like, I don't know, I think I'm like a little bit over halfway on the colourway chart. Definitely, I don't know, maybe like 2/3, although I'm not sure that it is exactly that far. But yeah, I mean, same as always, gonna keep going. It's been super clear to follow, and I mean, yeah, the chart's really easy to follow, and they do like there's like a 3-colour and a 4-colour chart, so you can basically, I don't know, whichever way you want to do it is fine. And the 3-colour one isn't coloured in, so if you wanted to, you could just go in and put your own colours so you can actually see what it looks like. But yeah, this is where I'm at. We're gonna keep going. The wedding was lovely. We were super tired coming back yesterday. I mean, coming back from Cambridge was like, I don't know, maybe like a 3-hour drive, which I was not in top form for, I will say, but we made it. And yeah, back to work today. Just gonna keep going.
I always take a look at the Essex linen from Robert Kaufman, and this plaid caught my...
I have exciting news. I realised that this jumper is a little bit maybe taking away, but I finished the colour work last night. The yoke has actually gotten a little bit too big for these cables, so I haven't been able to try it on properly yet, but I don't know, it kind of looks big enough. I don't think I actually said I'm doing like the 4th size because I want it to be quite oversized, but I don't know whether I block it if this will stretch out. So I haven't actually read ahead in the pattern, so I could 100% be telling a lie, but I'm pretty sure the next step is going to be to put in short rows at the back. So I did actually change out this bottom row here. Is meant to be in whatever you use for the green, but I decided to use the white because otherwise there was no other white in it. So I swapped that out, but yeah, we've been watching House of Guinness, which is actually quite good. I will say the yarn estimations on this jumper are kind of really off. So for the size I'm doing, the pattern recommended 2 balls of the Sneffnug and a ball of the mohair. Obviously this was the mohair I used for another project, so I don't really care that that's left over. But I have literally a whole ball and this much of the first one left of the green. And obviously if I had done the, I guess, like scallops, then maybe I would have used this up, but this feels like a lot of leftover, and I have a lot of the white left over as well, so that is the only thing I will say. But she's looking gorgeous. I don't know how much knitting I'm going to do tonight, so we will see. But this is where she is. You actually couldn't make this up. It's the same day as the last clip. I have cleaned the flat, I have washed my hair, which is a feat in itself. I've been putting it off honestly for about 4 days now. Just sat down to knit, finished the colour work. I've meant to have changed from a 6mm needle to 5.5. Go to get the 5.5 out of my needle case. The 5.5 isn't in there, but the 6 is. So I have basically knit this entire yoke on a 5.5 needle when it should have been on a 6. So now I am a little bit concerned that this may or may not be too small. There is no way I'm going to rip this out. I am just going to keep going. This is the 4th size. I think this is going to give me like, trying to think, maybe like 14 to 15 inches of positive ease. So I'm kind of hoping that it will just like even itself out, in the sense that like maybe there will just be less positive ease. I don't know. I know people's gauge changes with colour work and into stockinette. I'm hoping that because it's only half a needle size, it's not going to be so drastic. But low-key, I am just praying that this is going to be fine. We're just going to stretch it to hell. If it's not, yeah, like I said, I'm not ripping this out. I've done, I feel like, too much at this point. So, yeah, pray for me, because that's fucking stupid. I honestly don't even know how I managed it. Obviously, just took the wrong ones out initially. But yeah, so this is all potentially a bit small. I'm just, I don't know. I think it should be fine. Like, this fabric is so like light and airy that I'm kind of like, I don't know. I was trying to make sure as well that I was knitting super, not like super loose, but like a bit loose. So, I don't know. But yeah, if I run into problems later on, this is gonna be my own fault for not at this point frogging. But there's literally no way that I'm frogging. So let's pray. I actually haven't updated in a bit, so let's have a catch up. It's currently Tuesday evening. This is where I am with my jumper. So I think I'm gonna have to go a little bit longer on the sleeve, but I actually haven't tried it on pretty much the whole time I've been knitting this sleeve. So I can't remember what the last clip was, but obviously I clocked that I had basically knit the yoke off gauge. So I wasn't really sure how it was going to impact my row gauge. I also think that could have impacted why I have so much yarn left over, but not entirely sure. I've also done a different decrease rate for the sleeve. So in the pattern, there's only like 4 rounds of decreases, so there's only like 8 decreases in total, and I was worried it was going to be too wide, because I have learned about myself that I literally cannot stand wearing things that like the sleeves are too baggy on, especially I think because of my job, like sewing and stuff. It really bothers me when my sleeves drag. I'm also definitely leaning towards sewing this down, but I'll probably do that once it's blocked. But I'll kneel up so you can kind of see. So this is where I am with the sleeve. I think, I don't know, I feel like it's always really hard to tell like when to start with a cuff. I need to check how long it calls for in the pattern and how long the cuff is meant to be in the pattern as well, because if it has quite a long cuff, then I don't know whether to like call it a day. I think I might go for like a bit longer in stockinette. I'm kind of happy with how the fit of it is. I'm expecting as well that this will probably grow a bit when I block it, but yeah, I think once the cuff's on, it won't be like ridiculously baggy, which is nice, but it's still like a bit oversized. This cable is also like smaller than the circumference of my jumper is at this point, and therefore this is probably, you know, a bit bigger, but I just love how graphic this is. I think it looks so nice, and the colors as well have just come together so well. I am pleased that I did this in the white color instead of in the green, because I think it just helps bring it down. I'm debating as well potentially on like the last round of my cuffs, maybe binding off in the green, just so it like really brings the color down. But yeah, it's how it looks. I don't know, is that like a jog here? I don't know. I'm trying to tell like if the color work tensions change drastically. I think it'll all be something that blocks out. But I mean, for my first round yoke jumper, I'm really pleased with how this is going. It's so soft, it's gonna be so warm, I can already tell. And yeah, it's just been so much fun to work on. I basically got to a point on the body where this ball ran out, and then I decided to go ahead and do the sleeves first. So once I've done both sleeves, I'm just going to go in with the rest of the yarn. I don't know, I might end up with leftover since, you know, I had leftover elsewhere, but yeah, she's so cute. Plan for tonight, keep going, maybe finish this sleeve, I don't know, we will see. And then yeah, just obviously get going on this side. So it's currently Friday afternoon, we're in the spare bedroom. This is still super makeshift, we need to get rid of the rubbish, etc, etc. Today I've been working from home and my boss has just said that I can take the rest of the afternoon off. So you know what that means, we are bang on with the knitting. This is where I'm at. So I finished the first sleeve and I finished the cuff in green, which I think looks so nice. Obviously I haven't weaved in my ends, but I don't know, I just think it like carries the colour down a bit better. So I'm gonna sit and work on the second sleeve, watch some YouTube. I do need to do some cleaning this afternoon because we had like a huge leak, I think, coming from upstairs, so that needs dealing with. Luckily it's dry now, but we don't really know what the problem was, so I'm gonna work on this for a bit, and then I might like work on this until the end of my like work day. So like I'm basically finishing an hour and a half early, and then obviously I don't have a commute today, and then yeah, maybe crack on with that. So major slay, and yeah, this is also a major slay in my opinion. Also, I didn't make this jumper. This is like one of the only that like knit jumpers I have that I didn't make, but I don't know, I feel like I want to recreate this, or like not necessarily recreate this, but recreate something of a similar vibe. I feel like these are similar in vibe, different in color scheme, so I don't know, someone asked me about it, I think when I did like Vlogmas last year, and yeah, so guys, there's no pattern for this. This is unfortunately H&M, so yeah, before anyone asks. It's like 2 hours later, we're about to bind off this sleeve, so I thought we could just have a little chat quickly, because I don't know, I feel like obviously I've been talking about this, but I haven't really been having too much of a catch up. I think I've kind of made the decision not to make strictly like monthly podcast episodes anymore. Since I've started my new job, I find that I do just have, well, I started my new job and we moved out, so I find that I just have less time to knit in the day, which is fine, and I'm still knitting a lot, like, do not get me wrong, but I used to work longer days, over 4 days a week, so I would always have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. My new job is shorter hours, but over the full 5 days, so Monday to Friday. And aside from that, obviously moving out, there's just a lot more things that I need to do now. Like, I don't know, I don't just have a bedroom to look after, right? It's like the whole flat. And obviously I live with Ryan, but you know, we split everything 50-50. And like, I don't know, just silly things like cooking takes time, and then doing the washing up and blah blah blah. I obviously did live with like my family before, so I don't know, a lot of the jobs were just kind of like, things were done by 4 people instead of just 2, if that makes sense. So I don't know, like washers and stuff. What I'm saying is I just have a bit less time to knit now, and I'm happy to say I'm absolutely loving my new job. Like, honestly, wouldn't change it for the world. But I think in terms of like monthly podcast episodes, because I always do that, like the last video of every month is always like a full sit down podcast. Here's what I've been working on. I don't think I'm gonna finish as many projects in a month, and so I feel like they just would be quite boring. Like, you know, if I'm doing weekly, like, because I pretty much do weekly, like what I'm working on, vlogs, project vlogs, that kind of thing anyway. And then if I'm working on something for like a couple of weeks straight, and just to sit down and do a video and be like, this is the only thing I made this month, I feel like that's just like really boring and just repetitive to watch. So I think I'm gonna move away from that, and I will probably just do a video, like a podcast episode, every couple of projects rather than after like a set period of time. It will probably be like a sit down, let's have a catch up, here's basically collatively everything that I've finished and working on. If you're not interested in the vlogs, then there will still be them videos, but I just don't think that they're going to be as frequent. And obviously, honestly, it's kind of like exciting because I don't know, sometimes I get stressed like towards the end of the month. I'm like, oh, I need to finish this, like I need to, otherwise I'm gonna have nothing to talk about, blah blah blah. So I don't know, I've got some other video ideas that I want to do, especially I feel like because now that I've got more space, it's like a lot easier. I would love to do some videos on like me styling my knits and actually showing you my collection and stuff, because I think that's another thing with podcast episodes, is obviously they show what I've done recently, but since I've started my new job, and obviously we're now pretty much in late October, I have been wearing my handmade like jumpers and stuff so much more, like almost every single day to work, because I also don't have to wear a uniform anymore. And so I feel like they're not really getting a chance to shine. And I feel like, I don't know, kind of the whole point of knitting and knitting yourself handmade clothes is that you want to wear them, you want to get like longevity out of them, and it's not always about the newest thing or something that you finished for the sake of putting it online. Like everything I make, I want to own and wear for years to come. I want to own pieces that I can wear in different ways, and you know, with different things and different outfits and that kind of thing. So I feel like that will be fun. And also I feel just like more sit down chatty videos. Like my default is vlogs, and I will definitely not be stopping on the vlogs, but I don't know, like talking about my favorite yarns, or like, I don't know, just specific things about knitting rather than just, I don't know, this is everything I did this month, blah blah blah. So yeah, I don't know, that's kind of what I'm thinking. But also, if there's anything in particular that you would like to see or that you enjoy watching or anything, like I am definitely open to ideas. But yeah, I guess really that is the main thing. Like I said, I'm not actually going to stop doing podcasts. They're just not going to be the last video of every month. But yeah, I'm going to finish this cast off. I'm like halfway through, and then I will give you a try on and we can see how far we are, because all I'm going to have left to do is just the rest of the body. And I'm already down, I don't even know, like maybe halfway through the stockinette on the body, maybe like a little bit less, I'm not sure yet. It's also difficult to judge because my cable's a bit shorter than the width of the jumper. So yeah, anyway, I'll try it on in a second and you can see where I'm at. Oh my god, okay, this room is like such a state, so let's literally ignore that. How cute is this looking right now? I'm so obsessed with this little strip of green on the bottom of the cuffs. Obviously none of this is block chat, and I am also pleased that I did more decreases in the sleeve, because I always, well, my sleeves always end up stretching when I block anyway, and I did not gauge swatch for this, so I'm expecting them to get a bit bigger anyway, and potentially also a bit longer because they're already kind of long enough, but I thought if they kind of get any bigger, then you know. But yeah, literally this is how far I am on the body. So I don't know, I'm not actually belly button length yet. I'm like, I don't know, a bit above, but I don't know, like in the pattern photos her neck seems to have stretched out a bit. Now obviously I did knit this accidentally on half a needle size too small, so I don't know. I think I am defo leaning towards folding this down. I know I have said that a couple times. I think again it's going to really depend on how, like, if this part kind of like sinks down, then I will probably leave it longer, but if this stays as far up as it is, then I will probably fold it down. So yeah, and then also like the short rows are worked after the colour work, so I actually do think this is sitting pretty level. I can't remember if I said I found the short row instructions a bit confusing. Not so much in terms of how to do short, they're just German short rows, like it's not anything really complex. The thing that I was confused about was how many turns to do either side, because it basically says like work to this marker, work to that marker, then work past it by this much, work past it by this much, and then it says do it until you've done this many turns. And I didn't know if it was that many turns including the 2 turns I'd already done, or if it was 5 turns more. So basically it was the difference of being like 10 rows of short rows or like 14 rows of short rows. So I honestly can't remember which one I did. I want to say I think I did it as in that many rows total, so I think it would have been maybe like 10 rows. I thought because this is such a big gauge, I would assume it was the short number, but yeah, I actually don't know. So if you're confused about that, I was as well. And I did look on the pattern on Ravelry and someone else did flag it up, but there was no like reply to the comments. So I don't know, that's really the only thing that I have been confused on so far. And like I said, I can't remember if I've already mentioned that or not. I feel like as well, where the short rows were, if I had done the full amount of what I wasn't sure if it was, they would have come really far forward to the front. And I've not done a circular yoke before. I don't know how far forward like normal is in short rows, because obviously I understand why they come forward because it's on like a circular slope, so essentially like I guess this bit's higher than this bit. But yeah, I didn't bring them too far forward. I think I only brought, they came out like just under the arm, so yeah, I don't know, but it's looking so nice. I actually think I might finish this weekend, which would be amazing, because once this is blocked, you best believe I'm going to be wearing this literally every single day to work. Where I work now, the temperature is like, you have to adjust for 3 different climates because the temperature through the day like completely changes. Where my area is starts off being really cold, so I just know this is going to be absolute godsend, something that I reach for all the time, especially as it just continues to get colder and colder now. So pleased with my colour choices, and also the little sort of extra bits that I changed with the white and the green. And I don't know if I said, it's all like half twisted rib as well, which is not my favourite to knit, but I do think it looks really nice actually, so can't complain. And the yarn has been such a dream as well. I feel like I'm rambling on now, but if you've ever used Drops Air, this is like basically the same thing, but I would argue even softer and even fluffier. Obviously I am holding this with a mohair, so it might be, my perception might be a little bit different. I'll be interested to see once it's been wet blocked how different it holds up to Drops Air, because Drops Air significantly flattens out, I would say. Like, it's still mega soft, but it doesn't have that like bounciness that blown yarn normally has. So yeah, I don't know if it's going to be the same for this, but I just literally can't stop looking at myself in it. I'm so excited. This is literally so beautiful. I'm so glad that I picked this pattern as well. This is my first colourwork jumper, so definitely onto a winner. I don't think I've actually shown this yet, but I got the JW Anderson Uniqlo coat and it's so cute. And it's got like a detachable hood with tartan in it. And it's actually, I say waterproof, water repellent, but it's got these really nice like corduroy trims. And yeah, the hood comes off and it literally just becomes like a, I don't know, a jacket with one of them collars on. I actually think I'm going to finish the jumper today, but I've literally just been to B&M and I've gone to pick up something from the locker from Vinted, so I thought we could see what it looks like together. This is actually a bag, not clothing. I honestly thought this was going to be a scam, so I feel like loads of places are doing these cheap at the minute, but I just got one on Vinted. Definitely needs like, I don't know, the crease is coming out, but it's so cute. I need like a, I don't know, I have a black work bag, but I wanted one in like a different colour, so I can't even remember how much this was. I think I had some money in my like Vinted balance. I don't even think you can really see very well. Hang on. I don't know. Yeah, that's what it looks like. And then I also had a diffuser from B&M and it just started leaking everywhere, which obviously is not good because it's like electrical. So I just went and exchanged it for another one. I'm glad that they let me do it because it was kind of out of the like out of the date basically. And then I also got like boring cleaning stuff and some noodles because we always do a food shop on a Sunday and like we're kind of running out of stuff at this point. So we're gonna make some noodles, but we're gonna do some like mushrooms and egg, and I've just bought some pak choi from like the international supermarket because we really didn't have any veg either.
It on last night at about 10:30, which is very naughty of me.
I have good news. We finally finished this last night. The sewn bind off took so long. I actually ended up cutting off the mohair strand and only doing it with the sneffnug because if you've done a sewn bind off in a yarn like this before, you just know that it's like the most irritating thing in the world because it just gets stuck to itself constantly. So this is what it looks like with the green trims. I did run out of grey, so I was already nearly done with the rib. I don't actually know what the pattern calls for. The pattern tells you to do the rib in like a certain amount of like measurement, inches, centimeters. Because I'd basically derailed for the sleeves, I basically did not follow the pattern for the sleeves. I kind of followed like the measurements that I wanted them to be, especially down to the cuffs. So obviously I'd done more decreases, and then I think by the time I got down to the bottom of the stockinette, I think my cuffs ended up being about 20 rounds on the grey and then 2 rounds of the green before bind off in the green. So I was trying to do the same for the rib. I think I got down to like 17 rounds in the grey before I run out and then did the green bind off. So like it is long enough to fit me. Annoyingly, it doesn't match the cuffs, but that's just gonna have to be like a me problem because no one else is ever gonna know that. I don't know why I ran out of the grey before the other ones. I wonder whether it's because if my row gauge is off on the yoke, maybe my yoke isn't as long as it should be, and therefore I had to do more in the grey for the body, but I honestly don't know. And I honestly did not need to do this neckline this long. I actually had to do the neckline about 1/2 inch shorter than the pattern calls for, but it's still really long. So anyway, let me try this on for you because I do want to block this, but I need to check that I have a spare towel if I actually block this tonight, because we have not got a tumble dryer, which is one thing that's really annoying. And so if I get my towel sopping wet, then there will be no showers. Thing is, it's currently Monday and like Saturday night just gone, like this weekend, the clocks changed, so it's now lighter in the mornings and darker in the evenings. So I am sorry to say that the poor lighting situation is probably going to be more of a continuous theme going forward. I actually did do something different with my hair today. I've never really worn it like this before. I've got it in like double clippy things. Anyway, this is how it's looking. So she's not as oversized as I thought she would be, considering this is the, I have fluff in my mouth already. I think this was the 4th size that I did. And so in measurement terms, and this could be wrong off the top of my head, I'm somewhere between a 34 and a 35 inch bust, but the measurements for this were meant to be like maybe a 49 inch bust. So I wanted it to be super oversized. So I'm hoping it does like grow a bit in blocking. I mean, as it is, like, it's not terrible, it is fine. I am thinking as well, now I feel like I've said this in every clip, but if the jumper doesn't stretch the neck, then I probably will just fold it up to be like this. I wanted this to be able to be like hugely oversized to the point that I could wear it with a mini skirt and it be like, you know, swamping me. And I did more decreases in the arms, but not really like a significant amount more. So I don't know whether this is probably my fault because I didn't gauge swatch. I say my fault, like, it's not bad. I love this. I'm so happy with the way that it looks, with the colour choice. Even if I only really wear it with jeans, I think this is still like a really cute look, and it's so warm. It's going to be so ideal at work as the weather continues to get colder. But yeah, I don't know. We shall see how the blocking goes. I do need to remember to take before measurements so that I can check like how much I'm actually stretching it to, because I don't want to take it too far. I guess the good thing as well with this being so fluffy is like even if you pull the stitches apart, you really can't see through them. So I feel like I've got more, I don't know, stretch factor. That was the other reason I wanted to make it a bit longer, is because I was worried that if I started like really pulling like width wise, obviously you do lose a little bit in length, but I think it will be fine if I stretch. I don't know, yeah, I do need to make sure to like pull everywhere, and I also need to make sure like not to just pull the sleeves and the body. I'm gonna need to make sure to also pull on the colour work, because I don't want it to kind of like come down and then go out if I'm really stretching like the stockinette but not the colour work. I don't know why I just did that like that, but yeah, this is how it's looking. I hope that I can get around to blocking this. Well, hopefully tonight is the plan, and then I will show you the result like once it's completely dry. I'm hoping it's not going to take ages, because I mean it is absolutely freezing cold now. But yeah, I'll show you once it's dry, and then we'll finish off the video. I also need to quite clearly sort all of this stuff out. This jumper has taken so long to dry, but this video needs to go up today. So I'm literally about to weave in the ends. We're nearly done. I don't know if it's still damp in places. Maybe like, it's probably like 90% dry. I've literally had like a heater on it all morning. So let's weave these in and then I'll give you the final try on, because I actually haven't tried it on yet. So as promised, here is the grand reveal. It's 3:30 and the sun is already setting, so this is the best that we can muster up. But this is what it looks like all finished. I do think this is maybe still a smidge damp, like maybe in the cuffs and stuff, because I had the heater on like the main body, but this is basically what it's gonna look like. As you can see, I have just folded down the collar. I did leave it until after blocking, and I tried it back on, and honestly this didn't really stretch, I don't think, like at all. So I just decided to sew it down. So when I weaved in the ends, I just sewed it in. Since I didn't have any of the grey left, I just used some scrap yarn from another project. I had some like Filicalana Peruvian, which is kind of in like a really greyish brown, so it wasn't an exact colour match, but you can't see it anyway. And honestly, I am glad that I did it. I think I'll get a lot more wear out of it, and like it's not a super low neckline anyway. It still does come up a little bit, it's just not kind of right up here. I also think since this is now double folded, if this does start to stretch, hopefully this will kind of hold it up a little bit better. But these are my cuffs, which is super cute, and also it's the same on the hem. It didn't get miles bigger, truthfully, with blocking. I think it's obviously just relaxed a bit more. I definitely think this is something I'll wear more with jeans than with a skirt, but ultimately I think it's fine. I'm really happy with it, really happy with the colour work and with my tension and everything, which is the main thing. It's funny, like wearing this, I can feel that this section is thicker because obviously this is where like the colour work is, so I think it'll be interesting to actually wear this for a full day instead of just trying it on. It hits me, like my pajama shorts on, it hits me about a hip length, so I do think this is a good length. I don't know whether I'll end up kind of folding it. I obviously did more decreases in the sleeve. I am happy with how they fit. Like, I think that the cuffs are good for me, they're not super baggy, but I almost wish that up here the section that is designated for the sleeves just had more stitches in it anyway. But then again, obviously I'm not sure if I'm having gauge issues because, well, we already know the dramas with my needle size. I didn't gauge swatch, so for the most part I think it turned out pretty well for something that I really didn't do much prep for. But yeah, this is the 4th size. I haven't measured this exactly, but I do think that this is under what the measurement should have been by like at least a couple of inches. So this is probably fitting more true to maybe like the 2nd or 3rd size would be, but considering I'm only like a 34-inch bust, it's not that big. I don't think this pattern is necessarily intended to have as much positive ease as I wanted. If you look on the listing for it, you can see that they model 2 different sizes. So one of them is like the size that should be applicable for that person's bust, and the other one is a couple sizes bigger. So that is why I went for a size that was so much bigger than what would necessarily be recommended for me. So that is something to keep in mind. If you want this to look really oversized, you will probably have to size up by a couple of sizes. But yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching. If you made it till the end, don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff for more videos to come. I can't wait to wear this, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.